The political think-ins for all of the Irish parties begins today with the Labour Party gathering in Tullow, County Carlow. It's going to be followed tomorrow by Fine Gael think-in in Galway. Next week there is the Fianna Fail think-in in Tala, County Dublin, and that maybe has resonances and echoes of Alan Dukes in 1987 and the Tala strategy and all that, because that's the strategy that Fianna Fail is adopting at present. And sandwiched in between is an Ordesh, the only Ordesh of the autumn. That's the Sinn Fein one, which is taking place in the waterfront in Belfast over the course of next weekend. And essentially what happens is that after the summer break, all the political parties come back, and there's a kind of a series of choreography that's agreed between all the parties as to the date. So you have a kind of a staggered series of think-ins in which all the parliamentarians meet. They gather for 2 days to hear guest speakers, to discuss internal policy matters, and most importantly of all, to get good press. And there's staged events. There's a media opportunity with the leader and with spokespersons, and they always have a policy initiative or some kind of new idea that they float to the media that the media can use the following day. In the run-up to the 2007 election, I can recall in 2005 and 2006 that at every single think-in, the headline the next day in the newspapers went along the lines of the opening shot of the 2007 election campaign was fired yesterday when, and delete as appropriate, Fianna Fail, Fine Gael or Labour attacked the other crowd. So essentially it gives each of the parties a forum for getting their profile raised and getting the names of their leaders and their pictures, etc., into the newspapers. So essentially, if we look at the themes of the respective think-ins, they differ, but only slightly. The Labour Party one is hitting all its major areas in government. So, for example, tomorrow or today, Brendan Howlin will be given a briefing to parliamentary party members on how his comprehensive savings review is proceeding. They also have Oliver Gilvary from Dublin Stockbrokers coming in to give an overview of the economy. Joan Burton and Marie Quinn will be talking about the Jobs Initiative. Tomorrow, Pat Rabbitte will be talking about energy policy. And of course the party will also be talking about its presidential election campaign. Michael D. Higgins will be addressing the parliamentary party. Labour have high hopes of winning the presidential election, and that's borne out by the opinion polls, which shows Michael D. Higgins well ahead. But the other evidence from opinion polls has been far less positive for the Labour Party. There was the latest opinion poll, which was published in the Sunday Times yesterday, showed the party having fallen precipitously since the election. Its standing at present is only 12%, and the party that seems to have benefited most from Labour Party's fall in support levels is its coalition partner Fine Gael, whose support is up at 44%. Fianna Fail are at 15%, Sinn Fein I think are at about 12% or so. And there is a theory, it's more than a theory, it's proven by past experience that in coalition government it's a smaller party that will always suffer the most adversely. We saw it with the Green Party and with the PDs here in Ireland. We're seeing it at present with the Lib Dems in Britain, and perhaps we're beginning to see that phenomenon with the Labour Party. There's a very famous British journalist who said coalitions rot from the bottom up. So I think that will exercise the minds of some journalists, at least, down in Tullow today and tomorrow. Fine Gael, its theme is going to be jobs as well. It's going to look at all the different jobs initiatives it has taken, and Michael Noonan and Richard Bruton will be its main internal speakers, perhaps with Leo Varadkar as well, another who has a kind of an enterprise type portfolio. Its guest speakers are John Fitzgerald from the ESRI, who's going to give an overview on the economy, and also Patrick Kennedy, the Chief Executive Officer of Paddy Power Bookmakers, will be talking about jobs. So jobs is kind of the broad theme, as one would expect at a time when unemployment has gone above the 14% level. Fianna Fail next week I think will be focused less on policy and more on organisational matters. I think the party will begin to to get its house in order, and it will be looking at how it can essentially rebuild a party that has, to use a firefighting analogy, been razed to the ground, and its task isn't so much in relation to policy initiatives, isn't so much in relation to a new direction. I think its first priority has to be reorganising the party. So I think structural stroke organisational matters will feature largely at Fianna Fail. Sinn Fein at its Ordesh at the weekend will be looking in the short term towards the presidential election. I think in the longer term Sinn Fein will need to think about widening its appeal to voters, making it into a more mainstream party, maybe softening, mollifying some of its more extreme rhetoric to give it a broader cachet and a broader appeal. I kind of expect to see that kind of process begin to happen a little bit more over the course of the weekend. I think they're going to target Fianna Fail over the next 4 or 5 years, and perhaps Labour to a certain extent, in the same way that they targeted the SDLP in the